Premier League away victory since Palace way back in February. Well, I've got to say to you, I've sat here a few times. I don't think I've enjoyed an away performance, or indeed a United performance, for a very long time like that one. Right on the money from the word go. OK, there were missed penalties, and we should have won by a lot more, but 3-1 at Carrow Road, for my money, gets the job done. And fellas, gets that horrible old monkey off the back as well about not winning away from home.
Yeah, that win was long overdue. Good performance from the lads from the beginning. I mean, we can sit here and be a little bit disappointed with how the scoreline finished, you know, but they played really well. There was times when we were a little bit sloppy, but we'll keep on the positives, and we kept going. And ultimately, we could have scored 5 or 6 goals.
In the second half, we saw a picture of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming out to the edge and giving it the calm down, calm down. It all got a bit frantic, and perhaps it was just preying on everyone's minds how long it was since we last won away in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think when you've got something in your hands, you need to then keep a calm mind, a little bit of composure. And if it's not coming from people on the pitch, the manager's got to step in and say, look, relax, do what needs to be done. But they did. I thought they were excellent from the first whistle. Again, missed penalties, tell their own story. But we were good today. I thought to a man, everybody stood up and was counted. And I think what everybody wants to see as a basis is the work ethic, and that was there throughout. The odd mistake, but we go away to Carrow Road, get a win, and as you say, it's been a while since that's happened.
Not a ground that you like that much. You were wary of the home fans, our fans in Norfolk. Absolutely fantastic today.
Brilliant, they always are. And from the first whistle, they got behind the lads. The lads played brilliant, kept their crowd down, and you could see straight away that they had a nice rhythm. Everyone was working hard, getting to the ball. Fred with his tackling early on, winning the ball. Chris passing, little 1-2s, running off each other. I think I said it before, triangles. You could see the lads were really focused today. And we got the goals we needed in the end. And like we said, we know it should have been more. But they didn't stop, they kept going. Yes, we can still tidy up some things, a little bit sloppy in places. But in all, it's a fantastic performance coming off the European game.
And we wondered about Martial and Rashford playing together as a pair. Antonio Martial just back in the team in Belgrade on Thursday. Give us a striker's view of that exquisite goal that Martial scored in the second half.
I think you look at when we broke, Ashley Young won the ball back, and at that point you're thinking, go and do a little something. And I love seeing partnership up top. He plays it into Rashford, and he just keeps on going. And at that point, it's just about the awareness, knowing the timing of your runner, and Marcus's little back heel, delightful, and the finish, took it up another notch as well. Had us on the edge of our seat. We were like, jumping out of our seat. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And what you want to see, sometimes if you look at Rashford since Martial's been out, he's looked a little bit lost up there, like he wants to play with somebody. And they both were at it today, and you could see, we talked about enjoyment, they enjoyed themselves.
Give us an insight into the defender's viewpoint from Norwich City's point of view. You've got Rashford running at you straight down the middle, you've got Martial outside him. What can you do?
It's horrible, because these players, they're capable of taking you on as well, one-on-ones, pushing the ball past you. It's very hard, and they would have been running back quite a lot today, and it can drain you. But they would have knew that from the start. But I think our lads did what they were expected to do. They got in behind, they kept the ball well, and that's, like I say, ultimately that goal that this
we did today at times, and then obviously there's other times where we need to be more clinical as well. We know that, but it's things that we've been working on, and they're coming out on the pitch as well.
And the record books will always say that United's 2000th Premier League goal was scored by you. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, that's a record that I knew about before the game, 1999, and obviously it's I'm delighted to get the 2000s, and it's just about pushing forward now. It's about not getting carried away as a group, and keeping that humbleness to go into every game the same intent that we have had in the past 2 games in Liverpool and Norwich in the Premier League, and it's just that attitude to be humble enough to go and get after your opponents, and we did that today, and it showed as well.
You look at particularly the play of the sort of front three, how dangerous they were First half chances galore. Obviously could have had more goals with the 2 penalties, but the actual play overall, the understanding seemed to be superb.
Yeah, the understanding's there. You can see that. You're starting to see that in more and more glimpses now, getting further into the season, and the understanding's there. Anthony, Marcus, and DJ are a trio you don't want to come up against if you're a defender, and obviously it's good for them all getting goal contributions today, and obviously it's important for myself to score. So it's a positive day, and there's been mistakes in there obviously at the end as well. So it's a day that we need to learn and obviously get better, and obviously it's a confidence booster as well.
Marcus's goal is 50 for the club, just a couple of minutes after missing a penalty, but he had the character just to take the ball and score perfectly, shaking off the disappointment of missing a couple of minutes earlier. He's
a Man United player. He should. He's a top class player, and obviously that attitude to not drop your head, not be disappointed that you missed a penalty, and that reaction to come back and say, no, I'm going to go and score again, and he could have had another couple after that as well. So it's very, very pleased for him as well. He was brilliant today.
At half time, are you almost disappointed? He could have been 4 or 5 up, the keeper unbelievable as well, in a strange way. Yeah, only 2-0.
Yeah, we had the one from the corner and obviously a couple of penalties as well. So, no, we went in at half time knowing that we can score more goals. That's the main objective in the second half: score more goals, be ruthless, get as many as we possibly can, and set a real statement down as well. And obviously we only got the one more, but it was a great goal as well. So it was a pleasing day, and obviously hopefully we can continue to build on this as well.
Lovely little flick, wasn't it, from Marcus, little back heel to Anthony, and the finish. That was sort of classic stuff really from the strikers.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It's good to see them linking up like that as well, and obviously I'm pleased as well. It's a pleasing day, but it's the day that we're not going to get carried away with. It's the day that we have to keep our feet firmly on the ground and recover well, and obviously go again on Wednesday, and then there's another big game against Bournemouth as well. So rest, recovery, and repeat.
I know we made a lot of changes, but it's still a big thing, I think, to come back at sort of 2 or 3 in the morning on Friday and then come down here and pick up the victory. I mean, it's a bit of a test, isn't it?
Yeah, we're professional athletes, It's you do your recovery, you do your ice bath, you eat well, you have a good sleep, and you should be fresh as well, and hopefully that can be the case on Wednesday as well. 2
away wins in 3 days, 2 more to come, but it's a great start to a tough week.
Yeah, it's a tough week. There's 4 away games in, I think it's
9 days or 10 days.
10 days or something like that. So it's difficult. It's obviously some players have played more minutes than others, and obviously you just have to keep going, and you're only really as tired as your mind tells you as well.
Up to 7th as well, which I know is not a celebration, but up to 7th, it just shows you for a win or 2, a couple of good results, and things change quite quickly.
Yeah, for sure. It's very, very early days, and it's a team that are just starting to find their feet in terms of goals now, and obviously we're solid enough at the back as well. So it's important for us to build on it and not get too carried away as well.
Well played today. Thank you.
All of a sudden that monkey's off your back, as you say, Jim, and we can move forward. Chelsea's going to be a tough one. Depends what Ollie does with the team, whether he rejigs it a little bit. But as I say, Chelsea they're sitting in 4th at the moment.
Yeah,
got a lot of young players, been forced into playing young players themselves, and it'll be a very difficult one, especially because we beat them so well on the opening day. They'll want to get a bit of revenge on us.
That's right. And Bournemouth, a goalless draw against our opponents. Norwich last weekend couldn't get a goal yesterday either, and then the 2 home ones, we beat Partizan again. That's just about us qualified in Europa League. Then Brighton come here in a couple of weeks' time. Should we get a view from the TV gantry?
If you lose the ball, you know he's going to stop most things, and he was brilliant today.
What I really liked as well, not only was it that sort of forward front defending versus the winger, but also on the cover he sort of picked up those positions sometimes in behind the centre backs. There's one moment where he made a really, really good block. But the interesting stats wise here, Hernandez came on at half time. Of course, he caused a bit of trouble, but Aaron Wan-Bissaka, first half he won 2 out of his 2 tackles, second half 9 out of 10.
Brilliant.
Top stuff, and I think it's that type of battle kind of works for him.
I think the fact that you're saying that to me, and I'm not surprised, shows the calibre of defender that United have bought, and the way that he slotted into the team. I think I touched on it again with it's like Wes. You think you're going up against him, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You are going to get hurt, and he doesn't care. He's got the game face to deal with it as well. So he deals with it well, and been a great addition. He was solid today.
Let's talk about Anthony Martial now. Manchester United's win rate with Martial under Solskjaer is 77% versus around 29% when he doesn't start.
Yeah.
Big impact today.
Huge impact, because a lot of what Ollie worked on pre-season was, Rashford, Martial, working in these sort of areas, leaving the left-hand side and getting involved as a front two. And they did that very well. Rashford's been isolated for a while now, as opposed to having a recognised front man with him. And since he's been in, they enjoy playing together. There's times you only have to look at the goal. If this is Martial, plays a ball into Rashford and continues his run. obviously the ball goes in and then the finish is magic. They enjoy playing together, and you can see why. What did that relate to in stats though, Dave?
I think the interesting side with the stats, Manchester United this season, Wan-Bissaka's had a lot of ball touches in the final third. He's had the most passes in most of the games in the final third. Yeah. The interesting side for this game, it was Marcus Rashford. So 20 passes in the final third, 20 out of 23. And who did they go to? Anthony Martial. The most of them, 10 of them went to Anthony Martial. And as you mentioned, that sort of partnership on that left wing is going to be really important for United.
It will be, because both players can do everything. They can both go in behind, they can come to feet. They've both got good feet. They've got pace. They've got that awareness, a little bit of guile when needed. So it's a pain for defenders. And they just need to get into the rhythm they're at the beginning of the season.
Definitely. Also, last little point just on Dan James. If these two want to stay a little bit higher at the pitch, Dan James is going to put in that work on that right hand side, which has been really impressive for United. Not only the creativity, the assist for the goal, but also that defensive work allows them to leave as a front two. Leave two players up front and counter attack. Right? Yeah. Sometimes
the basis of what Dan James' game is about is the hard work, but it goes missing because it's what you expect, but it still has to be done. And he could be forgiven for always going in behind, but he doesn't. He gets in the mix, he puts his body on the line, and as you say, it sort of gives Marcus the licence to get involved up here, knowing full well that if Dan James does tuck back in, United can sort of balance off a little bit and keep a steady shape.
Well, no, there's mine and Danny's thoughts on the game against Norwich City. Back to the studio too, guys.
In 3 days, Manchester United's first in the Premier League since Crystal Palace in February. 3-1 didn't tell the story. They could have scored 4, 5 or 6 today. McTominay giving United the lead in the first half, their 2000th Premier League goal. Rashford missed a penalty given by VAR, but then made up for it a couple of minutes later with a fine finish from Daniel James. Lovely through ball. 2-0 at half-time, could have been 3. Another penalty missed, this time Martial missing after Cantwell's handball, also given by VAR. Finally, Norwich were put away after 73 minutes. Wonderful build-up play with the back heel from Rashford to Martial, who just dinked it over the on-rushing Krul. Brilliant goal. It's a bit like Cole and York, the build-up play of old. A late consolation, Onel Hernandez, for a plucky Norwich side, but they got away with 3-1. Frankly, it could have been any score, this.
I thought United were superb. I thought they set up brilliantly. They worked extremely hard to stop Norwich from playing and produce some really good football of their own. And even though, they'll look back and regret the fact that they've not boosted the goal difference with the amount of chances they had and obviously the penalty misses, this is a really, really good result. A long time in coming. Could quite easily have been 6 or 7. We'll settle for 3. Travelling fans will be happy. The lads will be confident going into the game against Chelsea and Bournemouth. And I think that it's a really, really solid performance. And if they continue like that, who knows?
Yeah, this run of 4 consecutive away games. 2 down, 2 victories. Chelsea and Bournemouth to come. Norwich 1, United 3.